working in the spirit of the Golden Empire. This is 17 News at noon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maddie Jansen. We begin with the latest on fires up and down our state, exploding over the weekend, thanks in part to what's being called a historic wind event. Let's begin with the latest, the Getty fire. It broke out about 1:30 this morning and at last check had burned 500 acres. Several homes and buildings have been burned and more than 10,000 are under mandatory evacuations. It's burning along the 405 near the Getty Museum. However, the museum and the art there is safe as of now. If you had plans to travel south today on the 405, that could mean a big delay. CHP says the 405 southbound between the 101 and Sunset Boulevard is closed. They'll reassess at about 12:30. As of last update, northbound 405 was open. This is just one of several fires across the state. The largest up north, the Kincaid fire. NBC's Jennifer Bjorklund has more from Sonoma County.
200,000 people started their day in cars, in hotels, or in shelters like the one behind me in this evacuation zone that is bigger than ever. Progress going the wrong way on this fire as containment dropped from 10 to 5% from yesterday to today. And to the south, thousands of people started their day running from this new fire near the Getty Center Museum in Los Angeles, which exploded in the pre-dawn hours. There are 10,000 homes and buildings in the evacuation zone.
We have our fleet of helicopters making strategic water drops to take the heat out to really protect the life and property. And we have structure protection that is taking place for firefighters that are in the homes that are being threatened to be able to save those.
California's governor declared a statewide state of emergency as fires continue to spread, and much of the state is under alerts and warnings. And blackouts for many extending into midweek to prevent new potential electrical fires. In Napa, Jennifer Bjorklund, NBC News.
This morning, PG&E gave the all clear for the most recent public safety power shutoff. The company says 6,000 team members are conducting inspections across the state so equipment can be turned back on and power restored to those without it. No Kern County residents were affected in the most recent shutoff, although hundreds were told that they could be. Meantime, more than 20,000 SoCal Edison customers in Kern are still under a warning for a possible PSPS. PG&E says it's monitoring weather for tomorrow and Wednesday and warns of another possible PSPS event. Meantime, we're also talking about air quality today. Kev, that haze is still out there.
Yeah, it's not as bad as yesterday. So that's a good thing as we take you outside, but it is still out there. Earlier this morning, visibility had dropped a little bit to 7 miles, but now we are up back to 10 miles. Shows the haze is thinning out a little bit. 64 degrees, a west-northwest wind at 3 miles per hour. As we take a look at the temperatures for today, we're only expecting the lower 70s, and then we'll slip back into the 50s as we progress into the evening. Right now, Tehachapi sits at 50 degrees, 15% on the humidity. We still have a breeze out of the east-southeast at 21, visibility at 10 miles. And right now you can see on the current winds, strongest of the winds near Frazier Park through the Tehachapi area, and then lighter winds up into the Kern River Valley near Lake Isabella. On the temperature side of things today, we'll be in the upper 50s, and then we're slipping back into the 30s as we head into tonight. We'll talk more about the red flag warnings. Are they still in place? When will they expire? That's all coming up in a few minutes. Maddie?
All right, thanks, Kevin. 17 Court Watch now. The trial date has been set for Leslie Chance, the former elementary school principal charged with killing her husband. This morning, Chance was back in court. The judge set her trial date for November 25th. It's expected to last 4 months. Chance, 52, faces life without the possibility of parole if found guilty of first-degree murder in the death of Chad Chance. His body was found August 25th, 2013, off a dirt section of Noriega Road near Enos Lane. Leslie Chance was principal of Fairview Elementary School at the time of the killing. Prosecutors say she killed her husband to collect hundreds of thousands of dollars in life insurance policies. If the November trial date holds, it will mark the second time Leslie Chance has gone to trial this year. Her first trial ended in a mistrial in June when the Public Defender's Office declared a conflict of interest in representing her. World news now. The U.S. military's campaign against ISIS has tallied a significant achievement. The killing of Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the elusive terror leader, was killed during a raid at his hideout in Syria. NBC's Richard Engel reports.
Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi called himself the ruler of an Islamic empire. But Kurdish intelligence officials tell us a spy in his inner circle helped lead U.S. commandos right to him and turn Baghdadi's hideout into a hole in the ground. 100 U.S. Special Operations Forces in 8 helicopters, backed by jets and drones, flew in for over an hour and descended on Baghdadi. President Trump watching on secure communications.
He was screaming, crying, and whimpering. And he was scared out of his mind.
As American special ops and a dog chased Baghdadi into a hidden tunnel.
Trying to escape, but it's a dead-end tunnel. It was brutal, but it was over. And as I said, when he blew himself up, the tunnel collapsed on top of him.
Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi founded ISIS. At its peak, it controlled a large swath of land across Iraq and Syria. He called it the Caliphate. It sent and inspired terrorists around the world. Over the last 5 years, U.S. Special Operations Forces and allies, Syrian Kurds, destroyed the Caliphate. Baghdadi on the run. Until this weekend, when the ISIS leader was killed in a smuggling town on the Turkish border. The hunt for Baghdadi reportedly kicked into high gear this summer with the arrest and interrogation of one of his many wives. She reportedly gave information that revealed to the CIA his approximate location in northwest Syria. The Kurds were then able to put a source, a plant, a mole close to Baghdadi, a trusted informant who was passing information back to the Kurds, and that they were relating to the CIA that put all the pieces together. Richard Engel, NBC News, Northern Syria.
Back here at home, 17 News is releasing its first true crime podcast. It's called The Man with 1,000 Faces. In it, 17's Olivia LaVoice delves into the past of notorious Kern County killer Jamie Osuna and the past of his victims. It's a twisted story of generations of poverty and abuse. She explores how trauma rewires the brain and how an abused little boy became a diabolical, self-proclaimed murderer. But it goes deeper than that. The podcast also tells the story of Jamie Osuna's victims. One of them also the victim of years of abuse that gave way to drug use and heavy psychological damage, eventually landing her in a hotel room with the man who would become her murderer. To listen to The Man with 1,000 Faces, you can visit our website or go to 1000facespodcast.com for more information on how to download the 6-episode-long podcast. We're following a deadly shooting that happened early this morning in Wasco. Around 3 a.m., deputies responded to the 800 block of Highway 46. They found a man who'd been shot at least once, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. So far, no more information about this possible shooter in this investigation, and investigators are still working to figure out exactly what happened. Kern County Sheriff's Office expects to be out there for a while today. This morning's killing is the 10th homicide this month. It's the 86th this year. That's 12 fewer from this time last year. We continue to track homicides through our homicide tracker on KGET.com. A remote part of the world is urging the Pope to change a rule that's been around for hundreds of years. The reason the pontiff may soon consider allowing the ordaining of married men. Plus, shocking screen time. A new report on how long kids and teens spend fixed on a screen on a daily basis and the long-term effects. Your 17 Health Watch is after the break. Back in your Health Watch now, a new report from Common Sense Media tied to your kids in screen time. That report's all about how teens and tweens are consuming media. And not surprisingly, a lot of it comes online, leading to some surprising side effects offline. The report's official release is tomorrow, but the Today Show got an exclusive first look. Here's NBC's Savannah Sellers.
Gone are the days of families gathering together to watch TV.
And here is Dave Garroway.
Now, when it comes to entertainment, things aren't so black and white. Especially for kids, growing up with the world at their fingertips. According to a new report by Common Sense Media, 8 to 12-year-olds now spend an average of nearly 5 hours a day in front of a screen. For teens, it's almost 7.5 hours a day. And those startling numbers don't even include the use of screens at school or for homework.
Screen time really matters in a child's development because it's time spent in front of a screen, not outside, not with your friends. And we've seen major issues around addiction, attention, and distraction.
And forget TV and video games, it's now online videos that have become the most popular distraction. The study, finding more than twice as many young people watch online videos every day than did in 2015. And this year, the average time spent watching roughly doubled to about an hour.
The biggest concern about this major uptick in online video usage is that there is essentially nobody monitoring online videos. I mean, these platforms are not like TV. They are not monitored.
And despite YouTube saying it's only for those age 13 and older, the platform dominated online viewing with 76% of 8 to 12-year-olds saying they use the site. 17-year-old Steven and his 15-year-old sister Julia say that sounds about right.
I started watching YouTube pretty much when I first got my iPhone, which was when I was 11.
For me, I think I also started watching YouTube when I was around 10.
And that trend will likely continue as younger kids gain access to these videos thanks to smartphones. This year, 19% of 8-year-olds had smartphones. That number up from 11% in 2015. A new reality calling on kids to grow up too fast, some parents say.
You're just having a different type of relationship with your family and friends, and certainly a much more intense relationship potentially with your phone.
That was Savannah Sellers reporting. So what can concerned parents do? The first thing to remember is that you set the example. If your kids see you on your device all the time at the dinner table, they'll see that as the norm. Also, come up with a plan to find a healthy balance. And finally, evaluate the right age for a smartphone for your child. In other health news this afternoon concerning kids, a new study reveals teens who use e-cigarettes with sweet or fruity flavors tend to continue vaping for a longer period of time. Researchers from the University of Southern California tracked nearly 500 school students for 2 years. They found teens who used flavored e-cigarettes were more likely to still be vaping 6 months later than those who used tobacco or menthol flavored versions. They also inhaled more during each vaping session. Experts say proposed sales bans on flavored e-cigarettes could help prevent young people who try e-cigarettes from becoming long-term e-cig users. Some pediatricians are saying weight loss surgery should be more accessible for severely obese youth. That's according to a new recommendation from the American Academy of Pediatrics. The group says lifestyle changes alone have not worked well for young people who are severely obese. And although studies show surgery is safe and effective, it's often not covered by insurance. Experts say the procedure should be available to all youth who meet the criteria for surgery. Just 3 days away from Halloween, that means it's almost time for our Sunrise Spooktacular. The 17 News at Sunrise crew is inviting you back for our annual event Thursday morning. All of the fun kicks off at 5 a.m. right outside of our studios. There will be giveaways, candy, hot chocolate, and a Halloween costume contest. You'll have a chance to win prizes like Disneyland tickets, a bike from Snyder's, and much more. It's happening outside of our studios Halloween morning from 5 to 7 a.m. We hope to see you out there. It's going to be great. I can't wait to see all those cool costumes, Kev.
Yeah, it's my favorite time of the year. And last year, I think I was Kevin Bacon last year. I have no clue what I'm going to be this year. Again, they don't tell me until it was Baby Shark last year. It was Kevin Bacon the previous year. I don't know what I'm going to be this year. I don't find out till that morning. So if you're looking for a fun time, come join us Thursday for a spectacular event right here at TV 17. Let's talk about the morning chill because it'll probably be a little chilly on Thursday morning. So make sure the kids are bundled up if they are going to come out. This morning we were at 42 degrees, so below where we should be, which is 51. Normal high today 74. The record of 92 set back in 2003. Right now 63 to the north in Delano, 65 in Buttonwillow, Taft at 64, 48 in Fraser Park, 50 in Tehachapi, and then we've got 64 up in the Kern River Valley for Lake Isabella with 50s out in the desert. Here's a look at Wasco right now, 64 degrees, sunny, a little bit of a haze. Arvin, slight haze and 66, and then Golden Hills, beautiful conditions up there, currently 51. And you can see around the state, not much to show you in terms of cloud cover. I know we've been looking at the haze because we've got fires burning north, we've got fires burning south. We're kind of sandwiched in the middle here, and to be honest with you, that's kind of a good thing. It's a good thing we're not having any fire issues here in Kern County, and we want to keep it that way, but we are feeling for all those folks up and down the state that are dealing with those fires right now. Temperatures right now running into the 60s for the Bay Area, 64 in Fresno, lower 70s to the south right now. Daytime highs today, lower 70s out of Sacramento and Fresno. Morro Bay should be right near 70 degrees, and then you can see down to the south, upper 70s. So L.A., where they're building that fire right now, the Getty fire, 77 degrees on the high this afternoon. But again, the beach is clear, sunny, mid-60s, not only for Pismo, but out in Morro Bay, and a northwest wind 5 to 10. Here's a look at the overall pattern. We've got this ridge out to the west. Our first system is kind of pushed on out, barely noticed anything. The secondary system is going to drop out of the north. How is this playing into our fire weather? We got the ridge out west, and as these systems move on the backside of us, pressure gradients tighten up, and that's when we see those stronger winds. and we're getting a little bit of a break for the rest of the afternoon. And then our next system will generate those winds again. Want to show you the watches and warnings right now. And this actually just updated because about 10, 15 minutes ago, the red flag warning had expired out of the north. So now we've got some fire weather warnings in place now through Wednesday at 4 p.m. for areas to the north of us. We'll see if that expands a little bit. And then again, we've got the watches and warnings for Kern County until 6 o'clock tonight, and also down to the south. We've got the red flag warning for the Los Angeles area through 6 p.m. So still the fire danger is high. What can we expect here in Kern County? Valley and mountain winds pick back up Tuesday afternoon, and then fire danger remains high. The relative humidity value is still low, 5 to 10%. High pressure returns next weekend for us as it moves more easterly, and those temperatures will be back into the upper 70s. Here's a look at the air quality today. Going to be moderate with an AQI at 72, and your forecast for today calling for the lower 70s all around the valley with a light northwest wind. For the mountains in the Kern River Valley, upper 50s, mid to upper 50s and 60s, and those winds gusting near 45 through the canyons. And then for the desert, we'll look for sunny but also breezy conditions, winds gusting around 30, 61 in Mojave. Your extended forecast, you can see a little bit of a warm-up by next weekend. Halloween, we're looking at 70 degrees, but overnight we'll be in the 40s, so dress warm if you're coming to Spooktacular. Mountain forecast will warm things up day by day. 60s return for the weekend, along with the Kern River Valley seeing that warm up with upper 70s by Saturday. So it's really the winds we're going to be watching still the next few days.
All right. Thanks so much, Kev. Well, today is National First Responders Day, and Wiki's Wine Dive wants to help them celebrate. Wiki's will provide a free sack lunch, including Wiki's classic burger, chips, a cookie, fruit, and a drink. The drive-thru will be open for on-duty personnel in their emergency vehicles until 2 o'clock today. Off-duty personnel are welcomed inside, but proper credentials will be required. Wiki's regular menu will be available for any non-first responders. How office dress codes are changing, plus changing the offices themselves. Your 17 Business Watch is after the break. We're back in your 17 Business Watch and checking stocks. They are up today. S&P 500 jumps to record highs on strong earnings and trade deal progress. The Dow up 144 points so far in trading. The Nasdaq up 90. The S&P 500 up 19. Meantime, checking oil prices. Those are down today. West Texas Intermediate selling for $55.85 a barrel at last check. And Midway Sunset started the day at $60.41 a barrel. An idea that led to a more casual atmosphere in the workplace is now even more casual. And most managers are not only okay with it, they actually encourage it. Details from NBC's Chris Clackham.
What started out in the 50s in Hawaii as Aloha or Casual Fridays quickly morphed into relaxed office dress codes across the country. And now it's not just one day a week.
Certainly, the days of sort of suit and jacket and tie are over at most businesses.
So there's less definition around exactly what to wear on which days of the week.
Tracy Fiat's a chief executive at the employment agency Randstad US, whose recent survey on dress codes found employees willing to give up a lot just to be comfortable.
People would be willing to sacrifice up to $5,000 in salary in order to dress casually.
The survey also found some employees avoiding jobs at places that never have a casual day at work.
I think it's changed a lot. Employees have a lot more control and a lot more choice.
Management consultant and author Robert Glazer says for the right company, dress codes should be relaxed.
If you're a software firm and you want people in there coding and T-shirts and shorts and have their dogs and stuff, like that's great and that might work.
Even with a casual clothing takeover at work, 65% of those surveyed say they'd still dress up for a job interview. Chris Clackham, NBC News.
Still ahead, why a remote area of the world is asking the Pope to allow married priests, and when we may hear from the pontiff on the subject, coming up. Welcome back. It's been more than 1,000 years since the Catholic Church routinely had married priests. But after a stunning weekend at the Vatican, that may change in one part of the world. A group of bishops from the Amazon region recommended to Pope Francis that married men be ordained as priests. Here's NBC's Ann Thompson.
An ancient rite and an ancient people. This morning at the center of a modern debate in the Catholic Church. bishops from South America's Amazon region recommending the church-ordained married men to serve as priests to deal with the shortage in that vast and remote part of the world.
There are villages that, if they're lucky, they get a priest once a year to come in and celebrate the Eucharist, hear confessions, anoint the sick.
The bishop suggests these married priests be suitable and recognized men of the community who have a legally constituted and stable family. The ultimate decision will be up to Pope Francis, who on Sunday said the church must open new roads for the proclamation of the gospel. But for his critics, more conservative and traditional Catholics, married priests could be a step too far. For a pontiff they already fear is too progressive, with his outreach to lapsed Catholics as well as gays and lesbians. And at the bishop's urging, Francis will also take another look at whether women should become deacons, ordained ministers who can preach, baptize, and lead funeral services.
What's different here is that you're hearing it from people in the Amazon, and the bishops are recognizing that women are already exercising these leadership roles, so why not ordain them?
But no one expects this will lead the Pope to reconsider women priests. Francis has said that door is closed.
Ann Thompson reporting the Pope will now take the suggestions and consider them and respond in the form of a letter that the Pope says he hopes to write by the end of the year. Coming up here on 17 News at noon, a local coffee shop transforms for Halloween week. The magical makeover coming up.
Welcome back. Grab your favorite Potterhead and head on down to Cloud 9 Coffee.
In honor of Halloween week, the cafe is being transformed into Cloud 9 3/4, the magical platform that transports students to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. They have golden snitch macarons, magical signature drinks, and chocolate frogs. The transfiguration lasts until Saturday. You can find Cloud 9 at 5060 California Avenue, Suite 130. That's the same building as the Petroleum Club.
Having a little bit of fun there, huh?
Yeah.
I saw the golden macarons.
It's the golden snitch.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Looks good.
Gotta watch those Harry Potter movies.
You haven't?
No.
Oh my gosh, we'll have to work on that. All right, thanks for joining us here for 17 News at noon. We'll see you back tonight at 5 and 6.
17 News, your local news leader, continues 24 hours a day on KGET.com and our 17 News app. In the spirit of the Golden Empire, 17 News.